Well, we've got Bobby Blitz, Ellsworth of Overkill here again.
Here we go again.
Obviously, you guys are out on tour with Creator and Warbringer. How's it been going so far?
Well, good package. I mean, the era of the package, I think that's really the idea of getting something like this together. This is a co-headline that was, I remember the early days where it would be, we were bigger than you were bigger than us. We're not doing that. This is like, I think this is like older guys who are like, let's just fill the rooms, man. That would be great. So, and that's what's happening. The rooms are full, and again, they're cut from the same cloth as us. So, it was never a hard negotiation. Let's just do this. Let's fill the rooms. Let's flip-flop who closes, and let's split everything down the middle. So it was one of the simpler negotiations we ever did. And then adding Warbringer to it gives it kind of that youthful energy too, I think. So I mean, I'm looking at it as a good package. Not by no means a failure up to this date. Full every night.
Great. Do you recall the first time you met Millie Petrosian?
Yeah, I met him. Concrete Foundations Forum. I think it was 1988. And I was coming off an elevator, and he was going on with all the guys who were in the lineup then, and he said, "Bobby Blitz, come party with Creator." That was a quote. I haven't brought it up to him yet, but I will now that we mentioned that.
There were reports that you guys entered the studios in September to start the new record. How's that been going so far?
All the tracking is done except the vocals.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's blue-collar work ethic. I mean, I've said it in the past, so it's... we have to. I'm finishing the vocals out here, writing them. I like to go up to the last minute because I think that when you have as much material as we have, repetition is a distinct possibility. I mean, we're not. The world is not your oyster when you're a thrash band. You're a thrash band. And I think that that's a good thing that we know what we are. But I still like to be challenged enough as to not repeat myself. Fine line between repetition and style. So I go all the way to the end, and so I have to deliver it by Christmas, and we should be on schedule for a March release.
Wow, yeah. That's dependable. That's good.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to.
Well, you always see those dates, and then you get pushed back and back for.
It's possible. Bands, so. You never know what's going to happen. But right now, drums, bass, guitars, a few more guitar things need to be done, but the basic tracks have been completed. Any
song titles? Anything you could share?
I just worked on one today called Pig. I also have another one called King of the Rat Bastards. Nice. I said, all this king stuff going around, I said, I'm going to make this dirty.
That's funny. Are you familiar with the video circulating around where it's just made up of clips of you laughing?
Just like I was.
Yes, exactly like that. Just like that.
The happiest heavy metal singer in the world. Yes. Yeah. Somebody said it to me, and the first time I looked at it, I said, "Oh my God, it's ridiculous." But now I actually watch it to get myself in a good mood. Sometimes,
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
It's okay. So do we. We watch it before.
And it's funny. It's because that's just the way it is, I guess. I mean, and I suppose somewhere in there, it's a good testimony to a life well lived if you can go through it laughing. So I mean, I was actually pretty honored that whoever put that together was. I should contact the dude, right? Yeah.
I know you talked a little bit about this before we switched things on, but how's your health? I know you had the pneumonia thing going on.
Yeah, better. I mean, it's just it was just the luck of the draw, that kind of a thing. I mean, I didn't pay attention to what anybody said about it, or one guy came up to me and goes, "You didn't have pneumonia. I saw you like 2 days later in Jersey." I was like. I was in Buffalo laying face down with breathing tubes hanging out of me. But good, and I mean, it's, the older we get, the more you got to be careful, I think, It's that, you don't, if we want to keep doing this, we want to do it at a high level. You don't want to come out here and get sick. You want to do this where you enjoy it, And I remember laying there, it was in Buffalo, New York, I remember laying there, and Dee Dee came into the room, and he's like, well, he goes, what do you think? I said, we got to can it. I said, there's no way. I can't move. And I said to him, I really hate canceling shows. And he said, something, except for single cancellations? He goes, this is the only time. I said, that's actually a pretty good record, good Iron Man record.
Yeah.
So.
It's bound to catch up with you at least once.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you get to keep your health insurance plan since you got sick?
With
all the Affordable Care Act.
It's a this whole thing affects me a little differently because my wife is she's a Dutch citizen, so I can get insurance through the Netherlands, and had been. I mean, it covers me here. I get if I get, because of the way I travel, the policy that I would have to have, even from Mr. Everybody Can Afford It now, would be tens of thousands of dollars per year, because you're going to places that in some cases are third world countries, and we're not covering this, we're not covering that. But we have this policy that was, I don't know, I mean, it's not cheap, but it covers everything. If I get sick in Russia, they'll fly me to Germany because the hospital's better, then fly my wife from the US to be with me in Germany and pay for the flights. You know what I'm saying? That's how intense. And it's also, it's a travel / health insurance. So it's if we lose all our guitars and I have this insurance, we're covered. So it's pretty good. It's like it's health insurance, but it insures the way I live. But the whole the Obamacare thing just wouldn't have worked for me. It's just, it was out of control, you know. And it won't cover me in other places. You know, that's the thing. Like, nope. Yeah. Nope. You go to a third world country and you don't have your shot for this, you're going to get dysentery, and then we're not covering. Yeah. So, it's really a joke, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's just you that it wouldn't work for.
It's just a joke. You know, it's just the whole thing is ridiculous.
Any thoughts on Overkill putting out a live release of some kind in the near future?
Yeah, recently
lineup.
Talking about it. You know, that it might be kind of cool to make that the next interim type release, because I mean this lineup is if we could do a full camera shoot. The last time we did something at Wacken, we did something in 2002, but I mean we're talking, it's been 12 years since that 2002 release by the time we get around to this. So it is on the plate for discussion right now, and we recently within the last year and a half we've signed with management. We were self-managed for years, but now it's, we got to have somebody else who wakes up in the morning and cares about Overkill.
Yeah.
And the business of Overkill besides Overkill. And I don't mean that as a slag. I mean that as, even if you love Overkill, you don't wake up and say, how can I make Overkill better this morning? The people within Overkill do that. But he was the one who suggested that, because we're renegotiating contracts with some record labels. And it's just kind of nice to have somebody bring in other ideas in. Yeah. And it's, you can even see on this tour when you go in tonight, we did merch, and this was this cat's idea as manager, and we localized every piece of merch. There's, for every city, there's something that says it's your city. It's not just a list of tour dates. It'll be different fronts. It's the bat biting the top of the Empire State Building. It's Aerosmith's Get Your Wings thing with the logo. For Boston, it'll say on the back, or Worcester, et cetera, et cetera. The bat chewing off the top of Disneyland for Anaheim, and on the back it'll say Anaheim, November such and such. And we thought to ourselves, we don't know, this is a big risk, but when we did it, it was like it was heralded by the kids, and the people that came in, they could actually get something that's in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia on Halloween, and some people were like, geez, I am from New York, but now I'm living in Worcester, I'm going to buy both, and it was, so it's nice to have somebody thinking in those terms, progressively, because I think, that's, those little things are the things that kind of separate bands, it's not, it's we want to be separate, we're in this to win this, so.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the merch table and passed on it because it hasn't been, there haven't been dates on the back.
Yeah.
Or if it's just some generic thing, I can get a Hot Topic or whatever.
Sure.
Why buy it?
Nothing special about it then.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is, and I think special is probably the word, and I'm not just referring to the merch, but I'm referring to just the approach we've been taking since we've had a third party bringing in an objective ear into our discussions. So.
When did you create the kind of shot out of a cannon method that you take the stage? Because you don't just, some people just take the stage and walk out there, but you you go for it.
It came from, really, it comes from stage fright. That's the simplest way to. Now that's dissipated over the years, but the original thing was, oh geez, if I'm not singing, I don't want to be here. If I'm singing, because maybe some people are born with it, but I couldn't look people in the eye and sing. You know, when I first did it, I was looking over them, I was looking down, my eyes were closed. And then when I would open them, when there was a guitar lead going on, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And the person who does it, I mean, is Dee Schneider, does it from Twisted. And, you know, they're relatively local to us. I mean, I remember those guys when they were, you know, a bar band, you know, and Dee would split. And then and I think I read in an interview once where he said it's like always restarting the show. And mine and his are a lot different because he wouldn't do it all the time. Sometimes just kind of trot off or trot back on. But he's always been an energetic guy. And I remember talking with, it was Phil from a band called Gamma Bomb, Irish band. And he was asking me about it, you know, and he said, I really like this, I really like that. I said, man, I didn't invent this shit. You know what I'm saying? I said, just steal the good stuff and make it your own. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the stuff I've done is, you know, it's a combination of stealing a little from Dee Schneider, probably a little from Bruce. You know, probably, I know I've stole a ton from Iggy Pop. Except that, like, you know, spastic shaking thing. But, you know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of Iggy Pop in the shit I do. And I know it by looking at it. There's stuff I do that Freddie Mercury did. And I know that, where, you know, it sticks out in my head when I see a video and I go, that's fucking amazing. But you don't copy it, you know, you just do move for move. You do it, and it becomes kind of yours. It becomes a blend of all these things.
I saw that the price of chocolate has increased. I know you and your wife have a chocolate. Yeah. Is it a store or?
Store. It's retail outlet. Yeah.
Has that affected you? I know it's going up, right?
Yeah, it's going up. No, it hasn't. It hasn't affected us to this point. It's based on a crop problem, I think, in South America.
Yes, it is cocoa.
Yeah, something with the cocoa. It hasn't affected us to this point. You know, it's a niche market that we do with this. I mean, it's not, we're not in commodities. We're not trying to compete with Hershey or Nestle or, you know, even, you know, Joe's Truffles. We're trying to compete and present something to a market who likes this specific stuff. You know, some of the best advertising we've ever had is somebody walking in with a Walmart shirt on saying, I'd never buy this crap, it's too expensive. You know, that attracts somebody else who goes, then it's got to be great, and I'm tired of eating shit, and that's the, you know, that's the kind of people that I think will be getting us. And I don't mean that as snooty. I just mean it more so as, you know, if it's a niche market, it sinks deeper roots, and it's harder to uproot. You know, if you're dealing with commodities and you're talking about, I'll be a nickel cheaper than you, and I'll be 30 cents cheaper than you, then, you know, we're not cut out for that. We're a mom and pop kind of an operation.
More about quality.
More about quality. Yeah.
You don't really have much of a social media presence. Is there a reason you avoid that? You're just not a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, you know, there's 50% of my life is very, you know, impersonally. It's not private. You know, there's stuff like this, and you know, the other 50% I like to be private. I'm also an older guy. I'm an old dude. You know, I mean, my father doesn't have a Facebook page either. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't give a fuck. Right? Whatever, tweet, twat, sit on my Facebook. You know, it's but there's, you know, I think the reality isn't about being lazy, but I just don't want to keep up with letting everybody know what I'm doing. So, I mean, I have somebody do an Overkill one, and I have a guy do a Twitter thing out of the UK for us. So we can tweet this or tweet that, you know, if you're on it. But I'll send him something every now and then, or send him a picture. You know, we'll send him something from the road next week, both of them. But on a personal level, I just don't want that many friends. I got a lot of friends. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There is a page. I don't know if it's still up, but there's a Facebook page that said Bobby Blitz, Ellsworth. There's a picture of me on the top of it. It's all these whatever friends, and I was trying to get it torn down because it wasn't me, you know. And it wasn't that I minded that somebody did that. I just minded that if they were using my name and misrepresented me, you know, in the future, you know, said to somebody who was, you know, that I knew were you. You know, you get on there, hey, what's going on? I go, fuck off, don't, you know. Yeah, remember me from Columbus? Yeah, I remember you from Columbus, you dick, you know, or something like that, you know. Yeah. So this guy, apparently he's doing an okay job with it, but, you know, I'm in my 50s, so my cousins are in their 50s or 40s or 60s, you know, I have these old aunts that are still alive, you know, and we were like at Thanksgiving. She's like, well, Mr. Snooty Rockstar, huh? You won't say hello to your cousin on Facebook? I'm like, yeah, Dorothy, it's not me. Has nothing to, oh, sure it's not you, Mr. Big Rockstar, huh? Huh? Remember you came, remember your Irish roots, we're all family. I'm like, and maybe this is why I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I said, this actually confirmed it.
Overkill and Warbringer were both part of Maiden's Battle of San Bernardino recently. That big show out there. What was that like?
We're in the second stage.
Yeah.
110 degrees, looking into the sun. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. I think we played to approximately 10,000 people. I think the big stage played to 35 or something like that. But we were kind of in the courtyard. I came out on stage, and the stage is set up right next to this big block of toilets. And I said, I knew we finally made it to the men's room. Show itself was good. Really hot as hell. I mean, desert heat. So, but we enjoyed it. Actually, my wife's never seen California, so we actually went out and spent a week on that.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Is there a final word you'd like to say to members of the Wrecking Crew out there that might be watching this?
The members of the Wrecking Crew, is that where we're going with this?
Yeah, the Wrecking Crew.
We're going to walk all over you, because we are the Wrecking. That's a week. It'll come back later. Come back for the show.
Puff off that thing, yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks.
Did I give you enough laughs?
Yeah, I think we can make a new